Hello everyone, Ebba here from Two Crafty Seniors. Yes, I'm back. I made a box and I'm ready to get on with this project I showed you the other day. And so the box was, well, difficult for me, probably easy for you. It does not look anything like, well, it's a box, so it looks like the one that Apryl at Giggle Glitter Graphics did, but mine looks different because I've done different things with it. So let me just show you on the top, on the lid. The box actually fits very nice together. Well, of course it's going to be difficult right now because I wanted it to not be, but there. Get in. Oh, all right. Don't get in then. There. Okay, so on the top, I have actually taken and put the cover of the book, and underneath it I have put a part that should have been somewhere else. It didn't end up being there, and I'll kind of point things out that I changed. So I wanted the box to actually say written in ink because that's the story that's in it. And the box itself is called Writer's Box, and the cover and inside of it are different. But they do tie into the Written in Ink series, so I wanted, I'm using the box as like it was meant to be. On the side, I actually printed two of these for the box and cut this one out. I had to size it to fit in there, but I did do that and got it to sit quite nicely in there, and it is glued in place. Other than that, the lid looks pretty much the same. I mean, the end pieces and the other side piece. So inside, what I did is this is a piece that was actually meant to be here, and I put it inside. Now, I did make a mistake when I was making my box in that I folded in the wrong place. So I have a bit of white inside the lid here that you hopefully can see, and that kind of it's a box for me, so I don't really care. If I was giving this away or something, I would make a new lid. But now inside, I have all the things ready for the next bit, and the bit after that. But inside, this is the box base. Now this is what I put on the top underneath my cover, is one like this, and it just went straight on. It glued on there quite nice. I had to trim it a little, because, of course, I had to trim this. No, I didn't. No, I didn't, because the box lid is actually a little bit bigger than this. Anyway, on the inside, this is what would have been the cover if I had made it like Apryl did. So she would have had this as the cover, and that is inside. And this part here wouldn't exist in this box at all. So that is what I did for the box. And as you can see, it sits things quite nicely. So today, I'm going to just set that aside. Today I want to work on the first part. Now let me just separate that out because there are two sections here and I want to do the next one for the next time. Alright, so the first part. Now in the first of her series, she puts together this book. And it's actually two sheets. So you've got actually 8 pages that you've got in in a book, because each sheet, 8.5 by 11 sheet, folded in half gives you 4 pages. So we have 8 pages in the book plus the front and back covers. And I just printed the back of my cover with one of the pages. They're 2 different kinds. They're hard to distinguish between the two. But I did the front and the back. Each one has a front and a back on it. So anyway, yeah. So this is just an ordinary, and you've seen me put these together. You've seen other people put them together. The 3 whole pamphlet stitch. It's very simple to put together. So that is that. Now, the first part that I'm going to do is the first part. So there are several things that we need to kind of do. There's this, and there's addresses. Now, at this point, you're going to make a decision. Do you want to use, sorry, I've got these upside down. Do you want to use Allison's name as the writer that this story is about? Or would you like to use Oliver's name as the story? Or would you like to make up your own and have your own? And you can use any of the three. I am going to choose to use Oliver's name, so these two will kind of just be set aside, which I can use at another time. We have several bits in this first part that some go together and others just get tucked in. So the first thing that makes sense to do is to do the pocket on the inside cover. Make sure you're on the inside cover and don't have a page over. But the pocket on the inside cover. Now, I have chosen to leave the white edge on my bookend pages. So I am just going to put this in. Now, I want to come over a little bit from the edge of the page when I put this in, because it will catch otherwise on there and make the book awkward to open and close. So I'm going to glue this in. Now, it's going to just reach the edge, just a little bit off the edge of the white. So if this was actually the size it printed, which it didn't print full page for some reason, if it was actually that size, it would fit right up against, it would be jammed up against this, and and up against the edge there and down at the bottom. So you would really want to cut a little bit of this off if that was the case, or perhaps on this side, whichever side you choose. But because I don't have that problem, I'm going to move it over a bit onto the white, leave my little tiny bit here. I'm going to get my glue, which I forgot to turn the other way around, so hopefully it doesn't give me a problem. And you don't want to glue on the top here or here. You just want to glue on the edges, on these three edges. Let me just shake that down if I can. There, okay. Doing okay. Now, you want a really thin bead of glue along here. I'm running off the edge. My eyes just are terrible these days. But anyway, we get her done. I can't wear the glasses while I'm doing this because I can't see up close if I have the glasses on. They're meant for vision. So there. I'm trying to make it as straight as I can along the bottom edge of the colored part of the page. So there, I've got my pocket in. Now, when Apryl put this and this in, she had a little strip up the top, and you can go and watch her video, it's linked below. She had a little strip up the top that she ripped off each end, and then she put this kind of in the middle of it. I don't really want to do that. What I want to do is I want to tuck it just inside the pocket, bring it down. I might even cut it off or something just inside the pocket. And I want to kind of make it into more of a flag on the corner, more like that. Just to make mine a little bit different, and I think that would look really neat. So I'm going to, because I might want to use, tuck in there, come on. I might want to use some of this blue later, so I want to take it to about there, I think, and tear it off. And because mine's not going to show as a tear off, I'm hoping most of this is in the camera view. Because it's not going to show as a tear off, I'll just tuck that part in underneath in the pocket area, and then it'll just be the stick at the top. Okay, let's get this up. Come on. There you go. Okay. You want to tuck you in. Come on, I want to tuck you in. I might have to put a little bit of glue. I want to just tuck you there. There. Okay. See, that works for me. Okay. There, and I'll add a little glue to the edge of the pocket where I tore it up to put that in comfortably. There. Alright, and my little, here it is, my little sign. It says, ink turns thoughts into words. Which I think is really a nice thing to, but mine is, I'm going to glue the whole thing down, but it's going to be more like a flag. Okay. Glue in. Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it down a little bit. Now it'll get covered up when we tuck things into the pocket, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Alright, so that's that and that I don't need. Now, those will dry. Hold this down so it dries. I think it looks nice. And things can still tuck in. I'll make sure the pocket opens. Just looking if I've got a something. Sorry, I can't see what I'm doing, and I'm trying to find something to kind of tuck in here because I don't have my bone folder right here, right handy. There we go. Yeah, just make sure that it's not. This is just a nail file thing. Make sure that it's not stuck or glued in. So I want to do the envelope next. I'm just going to set this up here. And I want to do this envelope. Now, I've started folding the envelope. You're just going to fold it on all the kind of lines that are around. Make sure that when you're folding it, I didn't pre-crease these because it's paper. But you can see where to fold it to. I mean, you've got a thing there and a thing there. Just kind of fold it to that. And you don't need to fold this one back and forth because it's just going to be folded in if you can get it to fold where you want it. Okay, let's do this and this. You do want it more or less flat. I mean, like it should be. There, I think that's good. Now I unfold those because I want to fold this down on its line. Now this one, actually, you can see the line better from the inside. Good eyesight is something I really miss because I had really good eyesight when I was young. Life does things. All right, so that's the top. There's your flops that fold in like that. Okay, so that's your little envelope. So we're going to just put some glue on this part. You don't need a big, huge amount. You just need a line of glue. It's just to hold the paper together, basically. And if you do it on this, you won't get too high up here on your ends. And then just fold this over nicely and just push it into place like that. Oop. And we want that to kind of dry. But in the meantime, we can turn over here and we can get our address. Now, Apryl did hers kind of jaunty angle thing and stuff. I want it to look like a real envelope, so I'm putting it on straight. I'm just going to glue around the edge, and I'm pretending it's a label. Now I do have a label maker, and I could have turned it into a label, in fact. And if you've got a label maker, like one of those X Xyron ones, or a Xyron, like a bigger Xyron, you could actually turn some of these things into actual labels and use them, and it would probably make your life easier. So I'm putting mine here, nice and neat. Yeah. So it looks like an envelope, an actual envelope. And then you get a letter, and this is from the publishers. Now I folded mine, and I shouldn't have folded it correctly. What I did. And like I say, this is, for me, this is something for myself. So I don't mind if there's mistakes in it. Because, now if I did it this way, it would fit into the envelope just fine. and then I would fold this down. But I don't really want this folded down. I want this part to show. So what I need to do is fold this down further and then fold the other part up to that. Back in the day, when we sent business letters out and had to fold them by hand, you would do this. You would fold it in three, but the bottom was always folded in like this, and the top was always slightly bigger. And then it fit, at that point, it would fit into what they called a number 10. Now, this is something, the writer is frustrated. He's got this letter from the publishing company, and I have another couple of things that I want to, where are they? Oh, they're in the next part. Okay, I'm bringing something over from the next part because I want to use it here. Now, there is this seal, and it's in the next part, and it's used as just a decoration on the page. I want it to actually look like it was the seal on here. So I am going to kind of tear it in half, as if I had broken it, like this. I'm going to put one half on the top and glue it in place, and the other half on the bottom and glue it in place, and it'll look like the letter was torn open like that. Okay? Because I like the realism of that. Now this isn't supposed to necessarily be taking place in a long ago time. I mean, obviously it's taking place back when letters still were being written and sent, but not necessarily, in the early 1900s or anything. This writer happens to live in an older house. You'll see that in the later things. And he's got this letter, he's got a deadline, he's supposed to be writing, and he's lost, well, let's say he's lost his mojo. He hasn't been able to write for a while. He doesn't know why. It's writer's block. And he's really fed up with himself as well. So he's got this letter from the publisher reminding him that he has a deadline. Please get to it. We haven't heard anything from you. What the heck? Now, you'll see that Apryl did her books like this completely different from what I'm going to do. I did like the idea of her having them up top like this. What I didn't like was she tore them, and I'm not, that's not who I am. I don't tear. Once in a while, like I tore the thing. But what I like is a more nice and neat looking thing. I'm cutting this in as half as I can, well, in a section as I can get it, because I want to use it as a sort of a ribbon. Now, she did hers top and bottom like this. I'm going to do it top and bottom as well, but straight. Because one of the things you need to do when you're doing these kits is make it who you are, and not necessarily who the original designer and developer of it is. And I've learned that, like, if you don't, then you go back and you look at your project, and it's not you, it's them that you're looking at. So, where you can, to make it make sense to you, do what you want to do, what you're comfortable with, and don't worry about what they did in that video. Because unless you want it identical, which really isn't creative in my books, if you want it creative, then do your own thing. Put it down, do your own thing. So I want this and this, and I'm setting this aside. I may use it later, like, this I want down here. I'm going to cut off that dark one again, because all I'm doing is just cutting off a portion of a little book that was on the edge. and then I'm going to glue this down, and it's top and bottom. I am going to glue in the journal entry, and I'm also not doing this in the same order as April did it, which is fine. I mean, you know, you do things. I'm not following her exactly. I watched her video to make sure that I was, you know, looking at things in the right way, because I hadn't watched them for a while, and you know, this is, I do want it to be reasonable, and to sort of fit. See now, I'm going to move this down just a smidge, because I want it to match up with that, otherwise it doesn't look right. All right, there. So that's those two parts. Now, I want this here on the page as if it was written or typed separately and then put into the book. So I'm going to put in the journal entry at this point, and I'm doing the corners and across the top. Just doing the corner, and I'm going to do across the bottom. So it's sort of open on the sides. Just to my way of thinking, this person, this writer, he's frustrated, and he's not necessarily taking time to glue a whole page. I'll get the darn thing in there. I'm sick and tired of this. Now, we've got another thing here with a cup of tea. And where April put it was here, which was nice as a tuck. What I want to do is I'm taking my letter back out, and I want to put it here because I'm going to hide this. I want to hide the thing that's tucking into it. So I am just going to do, let's see, which way does my tea go? This way. I'm just going to do around the bottom, kind of here. So kind of around from halfway there to about there. I don't need it right up. It doesn't need to be halfway. It just needs to be enough that it's going to hold this. Then I'm going to tuck it so that it's part way there, and do that. Now I'm going to have to let that dry. There's a little bit of glue leaked out, but you know, well, you know, stuff like that happens. I'm going to let that dry a bit, and while it's drying, I'm going to bring in this. What this is a little notebook of his trials. You know, he started scratching something on a little piece of paper, and he's got them in this little notebook, and they're all different. There's 5 of them, sorry, and I'm trying to get them so they're all right side up. Some of them switched around. I'm not putting them in any particular order because, you know, and you can tell in his thing that he's frustrated. So we're going to start with this one. And do it in this order. That's the order I want mine in. I'm not telling you how to do yours. I used to have a stapler, and I don't know where my stapler went. Now, what April does is, I don't know if you remember the old matchbooks. This reminds me of the old matchbooks. They used to have a little stack of cardboard in there, and then they would have a single staple in the top. I gotta hold this so that it shuts and stays. I don't have a stack of cardboard in there. I just have a little bit of glue. And I'm just scrunching that along so that it will stay closed. And then I'm just going to kind of pinch the edge up a bit, just so that I can get my note cover, my little cover, into that pocket. Now, April glued all these in one at a time. I'm not going to. I'm going to tuck them in, like, you know, I've written them, I've tucked them into my notebook, good enough. And then I'm going to take this. Now, this is very straight, This one I am going to tear, like April did, but a little bit different. I mean, you know, I'm tearing it. I've torn it out of a book. And I'm just jamming it in there. It's like just right. And, and I'm closing that. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to put my other things away. So here's my letter. The just right. Maybe I won't put it in there. Maybe I'll tuck it in here. There. Like that was what that was sort of meant for. So we'll do that. We'll put it in there. Tuck those in there. Put them in here. Got the letter in there. And there it is. That is the first bit. The first section. So I'm kind of loving the way that this looks. And I'm really looking forward to getting the whole book, you know, done. Because it's fun doing it. So I'm going to say goodbye for this time. And I'll be back. This is going out on Thursday. And I'll be back for Sunday with the next part. Bye for now. Take care.